declined it. I was like,
Recording in progress.
"Good
Sorry.
morning." I wonder if you could choose different accents for that, like you can with like GPS.
This is recording, so I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't care about this story. But my 6-year-old, as Sean knows, has a very disciplined self-care morning routine, which includes a nice warm shower, um, and taking up lots of independent spaciousness, which has me arriving with sopping wet hair by the time by the time he's done all of the things, which included warm sage tea this morning and a shower and reading and all sorts of things. This like really slow burn of a morning, which is beautiful, but I can't even be mad at the get out of my space, which is what I want. Hello, Rena and Becky and everyone, but I haven't seen Rena in a long time. And she's wearing mustard.
Welcome to December RCCP, everyone. That was the Stream Queens out of DC bringing so much flair to the violin and the cello. So quite beautiful. Give me one moment. I just need to make him the co-host. And then we shall get started. Alrighty. Kim, are you co-host now? Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so this is our last RCCP for 2025, the year of the wooden snake and Chinese New Year. And so we know that snakes do a lot of shedding. And so hopefully this year, you have created some spaciousness to do a lot of shedding of things that no longer serve you and letting go and stepping into a different year, a new you, transformed with a lot of transitions. So, our sacred opening, and then we're going to dive into chapter 3 with a lot of metaphors around dust storms and understanding how these metaphors are shaping the national landscape and the impact. And then lucid certainty, and then thinking about clear as a bell. And that was the pre work that I shared with you last week. And then we'll close with Claire with a Jen Wright quote, and then we will do a whole group wrap up. So, just a reminder, taking time for sacred pauses and understanding that we are on Indigenous land. Wherever we go, we are on Indigenous land. But that land has been shifted and changed and transformed, where it has created a lot of separability. And our ancestors living on this earth, who were deeply connected to the earth, knew that there was no separability. And so we need to learn to just really understand our connection to the earth and how centered and grounded the earth can keep us because we are it and it is us. And just thinking about not just Indigenous people here, but Indigenous people in other parts of the world. Um, but since we are in the United States, just thinking about how you want to support an organization or individuals or carry on as is. And then here are RCCP protocols. Take one moment to see which ones resonate with you and put the number or numbers in the chat. All right, thank you. And hold on to those and sit with those during our 90 minutes together. And just as a reminder, staying centered in your body is really, really important. It's not only challenging just to be human, but it's also challenging and also rewarding at the same time to be a human that is present, that is aware, that is reflective, and that is consistently working on transforming yourself and also being fully accountable. And so that's really, really important. And so it's just important to understand the pauses and recognizing the six body intelligences that come up when we're actually doing our mirror work and not just focusing on the lens work. And as we walk through today, especially when you start engaging in the pre work, just notice your body when it's activated, staying centered, pausing, breathing, ground, and just notice sensations that are rising. Nothing that you need to do or change, but just notice. And I will give it to Kim.
All right. Y'all hear me okay, right? I got my headphones
Mhm.
working. Okay, great. Good to see everybody. I am gonna sort of take us through the next section. So, as we were actually, I know I've seen your faces now. I got to go back to the slides that you're sharing. There we go. As you know, we're grounding in chapter 3 of the 4 pivots. So it's the last chapter in the first pivot, which is from lens to mirror. Can I ask somebody to just read the quote on the slide here?
I can read it. Transforming our communities and building a more just society require that we all recognize the ways that oppression has made it difficult to take seriously the work required for social change.
Thanks, Kieran. So that's really where we're starting from today. So just a couple more quotes pulled from this chapter that we wanted to share into the space. So can I get someone to read the one that's on the left side?
When we practice mirror work and ongoing commitment for self-reflection and truth-telling, we arrive at clarity. Clarity can be defined as a state of vivid, transparent certainty, which illuminates an unambiguous path toward a desired goal or direction. Clarity is the ability to be lucid with a coherent awareness about your journey.
Thanks, Chris. And one more person for the quote on the right.
Being clear can come from thinking, but clarity comes from surviving a game with suspension, saltation, and creep, a dust storm, when something unexpected happens that disorients, confuses, and obscures.
Hmm. Thank you, Becky. So for the first section today, we're going to really explore this metaphor that Ginwright kind of brings to us. So specifically this dust storm, what came to mind for us and really Sean brought to the table was just this idea of like how this metaphor really speaks to what we're experiencing at the macro level right now in terms of our socio-political landscape. Like there's just so little mirror work happening and so little clarity. And we just wanted to sort of explore that metaphor as a collective in the context of this moment that we are all navigating in our country. So I want to, next slide, Sean. So just thinking about that a little bit more, we have kind of mapped out some thoughts about how it plays out in our minds anyway around these 3 different elements of a dust storm: suspension, saltation, and creep. So if you remember from the text, suspension is kind of the finest dust particles that are like swirling and making it really hard to see, like a fog. And so in the context of our nation right now, the confusion and noise that clouds public understanding could be seen as suspension. So I'll pause for a second to read some examples. So you can read some examples off the slides that we saw as part of that. So it's that chaos, inflammatory statements, just distractions. Next slide. So then there's saltation. So this idea of there's like the larger dust particles that can like hit you in the eye or you kind of notice them because they travel a little more close to the ground. So in this kind of exploring this metaphor in our socio-political climate, it's really about the policy impacts that are hitting communities directly. So SNAP, civil rights rollbacks. I'll let you read through those for a second. And then next slide, Sean. And then there's creep. So again, Ginwright talks about how it's like that's the force that in a dust storm brings the largest particles across and it kind of like it's heavy, it drags across the dust. It might stir up other particles that then go into saltation or suspension. And it kind of just joins the traveling party of dust particles. So they're like the bigger pieces. And so we saw them in this metaphor as kind of the long-term structural shifts that are shaping our country's future that are happening as well. So erosion of democratic norms, court appointments. I'll let you read through some ideas that came to mind for that. Okay, next slide. So again, there's a couple quotes here. I'd love to have a few more people, just voices in the space that we haven't heard from, to share them. So the top one, could somebody unmute and share or read?
Suspension, saltation, and creep are always present to some degree in our lives and in our work. These dust storms come disguised as internal conflicts in our organization, structural racism in our cities, and divisiveness in our nation.
Thanks, Jesse. And someone for the bottom one.
But it's hard to fight with dust in your eyes, and it's even hard to know where to go when you can't see.
Thanks, Sean. Next slide. Great. So these are some guiding questions as we were kind of sitting with this metaphor in the context of this macro kind of exploration. And so for suspension, the question is kind of thinking about what helps you clear the air, what practices, communities, or mindsets can restore visibility for you. And we're going to go into breakouts to explore these in a few minutes. So just naming what we see as kind of the starting place of those discussions. For saltation, thinking about how resilience or resistance is emerging, and then what are people actually doing to protect their eyes from the dust, from the bodies, their communities. And then for creep, it's really about thinking about what would it look like to intervene at the level of creep. So this is that bigger structural stuff. Want to give you a second to just digest those. And then we're going to move into breakouts for about 10 minutes to really discuss, kind of explore it a little further. So if you can go to the next slide, Sean. Which aspect of the dust storm metaphor that we kind of are trying on at this socio-political level resonates the most with you? So suspension, saltation, or creep. And you're going to have, we're going to open in a minute, self-selected breakouts. So you can kind of just find your way to whichever one of these three you'd like to kind of have a larger discussion about. And Sean, if you could go back to the guiding questions slide.
Hold on.
While people take a minute to choose.
And we're in these groups until 9:45.
Oh, sorry. Well, we want to have a chance. Does that including the debrief?
9:40.
Okay, great. So a little more time than I thought. That's great. So think for a second, decide which one you're interested in talking with colleagues about a little bit, and we'll pull you back in about 9:40. Any questions before I open up the room? Okay. The slide deck is attached to the calendar Holden in the chat, but if you need it. So, all right, y'all. We'll see you in a little bit. Go ahead and self-select a room. And if you need help being assigned, just hang out and I'll put you somewhere. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Just wanted to have a few minutes here to hear from each of the breakouts a little bit about what you all talked about. So if we want to talk I guess we can go in any order, but does one group want to jump in and share something that's on top as you wrapped up that conversation?
I'll share really briefly. Three things came up in our CREEP group. Um, we named that market capitalism is designed to destroy collectivism, and looking at immigrant communities such as the Somali community in Minnesota who supported Trump, and now they are experiencing the disdain from him and how he just wanted their vote and nothing else. And so I was just sitting with the question of how they're going to navigate their collectivism through an individualistic country, right? And stay rooted in that to navigate this particularly creep terrain. And then Amanda shared the local challenges that she's experiencing in Half Moon Bay and how the Trump administration has exponentially increased the prices of visas in terms of um, recruiting Spanish teachers. And so I think she said the visas are now $100,000 and school districts can't afford that. And so what they have right now is a teacher who is brand new, doesn't have a frame of reference, and is, her kids and other people's kids are not getting the education that they deserve and need. And then I named that I'm soon to be on the board of Clock Map. It's called Queer Women of Color Media Arts Project. And I had the opportunity to make a film and learn about film production about 10 years ago. And going to their board retreat, they said they lost $500,000 because of the Trump administration. And everything that they provide is free, from the film festival to showing women how to make films. And they almost had to close their doors. And so the CREEP part is really leveraging the community and going back to old school ways of how you rely on the community to support your initiative that support the community, and really thinking more broadly and not just kind of relying on philanthropy or donations, because they're never a guarantee. But if you leverage and lean into the community because it benefits the community, that's the new route that folks have to go.
Thanks, Sean. Anyone from a different group want to jump in? Either suspension or saltation.
I was in suspension, and we were really talking about we chose suspension thinking about like it being like closest to the micro, like what are those like moments? And I think a lot of our discussion was really about what is our lived experience when we are out in schools? What is it that we see teachers and like their day to day and how much they hold versus the narrative of like what schools are? And shared some like examples about thinking about how we're supporting leaders, but also maybe pushing leaders in the way that they're thinking about all that falls on a classroom teacher these days. And also just like the power of like also being in a classroom and seeing like what can be there, and so much of like how can we identify the like value in the day to day, even if there are narratives around, oh, well, this is bad or anything like that. So that was kind of it. Not sure if anyone else wants to add.
We also talked about capitalism creating in education a labor class, a managerial class, a consultant class, and a philanthropic class, and how weirdly situated we are as an organization there. And to Amanda's point, like the more time we spend in classrooms and in schools, the more aligned we can be with the people doing the work every day.
Thanks, team. Very good summary. Uh, Anybody from the saltation group have something to surface?
Yeah, I can go. Saltation, we were probed on thinking about resilience and resistance and how people are surviving, how protecting, how they're resourcing. And we landed on three themes that were not really about like they were about resiliency, but not explicitly about like resistance, right? And one big piece that is good for the whole group is like this like the spectrum of like exhaustion, but still like holding your paradigm. Like how much do you want to be in the know, but how much are you still resisting, right? Because there's so much sandstorm, right? Just cluttering mind, cluttering your body. And so, Sanea and Derek and Milton were naming this piece of like so much is about accepting dehumanizing behaviors and trying to process what you're filtering in, and everybody's doing it like all the time. That's the override and overdrive that Sean is always referencing. And it took us to this idea of like, how do we move forward with more discipline, right? How do we illuminate the binaries and understand the nuances and think and not feeling like you just don't have a one or the other choice, because it's way more complex than that. um and there was another like eerie kind of part of our conversation is like, how are we slowly becoming so intolerant, right? And I was like, oh, that's a really powerful takeaway. So our group was really thinking about, you know how people are experiencing saltation right now and how it feels to the collective body. Not so much about like what are you doing on the day to day to like resist it, but we were really probing like how it's impacting everyone in schools and communities and stuff.
Thank you, Kay. Kay for his often masterful listening and repeating back. I think one thing I'd add is just like going back to a piece of that, which is binary thinking, I think is really important for us to examine. Um, and I do feel like often within resistance movements or within times that are just so blatantly harmful that we could fall deeper and deeper into that. And the word that has been coming up in my mind when I think about it is just that a lot of the foundation of very violent, oppressive systems are rooted in binary thinking. And how if our resistance movements get stuck in that either or mindset, us versus them, and just really reducing complex humans and situations to just this binary that it's just it's the undoing, I think, of the ability to actually move in a way that's transformative. I mean,
Thank you, Snell.
colonization, genocide, slavery, everything has been rooted in a binary, right? So, like, your resistance movement can't also take up that ideology.
Yeah. Being in the gray, not the black and white. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing. I'm going to pass it to Sean for our next section.
All right, so now we're going to move to the more internal piece, clear as a bell. And this is really about slowing down, as I often say. Let's do this at your pause. Let's slow down. Let's not override and let the dust settle. Because when the dust is everywhere and you're moving, you can't see. But if we actually just exhale, pause, let the dust settle, then clarity uh, starts to come about. So here are the reflection questions that I emailed you last week, and is really thinking about a personal or professional situation in your life where you need to create, where you need to slow down and take one true step. Think differently, reorient, recalibrate. So each person will have about 5 minutes to share. So when you get into your triads, choose someone to be a timekeeper for each speaker. Again, share at your comfort level. After each person has shared, each listener will have 1 minute each to reflect back what they heard, not solving, not asking questions, it's just reflecting back what they heard. So before we break out, any questions? Let me stop sharing here. All right, Kim, are the rooms ready?
Not quite. There's a little bit
Okay.
of a change in who's here, so give me one more second here. I'm
Okay.
doing
I know my
some.
two people aren't here, so I'll just go. You don't have to put me anywhere. I'll figure out where I go because I know Keon
Yeah,
and Mercy are not here, so don't worry about that. But all the other rooms are intact. It's just me.
yeah. But now I made you. Yeah, so the numbers don't match up, but that's okay. All right, we got Faulkner right there. Oh yeah, great, perfect. Now we are ready.
All right, so you will be here until about 10:20, and I will continue to broadcast when you have 10 minutes, 5 minutes, and a few minutes left. So enjoy your conversations and being human together.
All right. I don't think I got assigned either, so where do you want to
Oh, you
go?
didn't?
Well, it's okay
Really?
because I will jump into no, I'm with Kay and Chris. Okay. So I'm in room
Okay,
one.
yeah.
So
Got
you
it.
should
Okay.
maybe go to one of the other ones and I'll join that one. Cool.
Okay.
I
Got it.
didn't get the option. All right. So what time do you want me to manage the timing on this one? Or
Oh
do you
no,
want
I
to
can
do
do
it?
it. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Okay. All
fine. All right. I'll
right.
see you in a
Thanks.
bit.
All
Uh-huh.
right, see ya.
Bye. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Okay. So, hope you all had some wonderful time to be human together in your breakout groups. Just in the interest of time, definitely notice some bossy that came up for you while you were sharing and also while you were listening. And we asked you this question, how did sharing your truth about creep and slowing down impact your ability to be vulnerable and human in your conversation? So please put a brief word or phrase in the chat that speaks to what came up for you. All right, 30 more seconds to put in your response in the chat. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of connection, slowing down, noticing differences, sensations in the body. So thank you, everyone. So Kim and I want to leave you with this powerful quote from chapter 3. So if I could have some volunteers for each slide, as you see the slide, just jump in and read. So in closing, we leave you with this quote to sit with. Can I have someone read that quote, please?
Clarity, on the hand, is something we feel from deep inside and involves accepting a sense of calm certainty of what is important and what is not.
Being clear can come from thinking, but clarity comes from surviving a game with suspension, saltation, Creep, a dust storm, when something unexpected happens that disorients, confuses, and obscures.
When we find ourselves in life's dust storms, clarity is being able to hold an unobstructed vision of what is happening and take the steps you need to get through it. Clarity burns away all the opaque bullshit, leaving in its wake a lucid simplicity.
Clarity comes when we shed all the barriers, confusion, distractions, amusements, and excuses that get in the way of what we really want. When you know what you want so bad that nothing can convince you otherwise, that's when you have clarity.
And that's when you have clarity. So hopefully we are all having clarity in our lives in different spaces and places as we come to a close of 2025, which, has been a very difficult and challenging year on a national level, regional level, local level, personal, professional level. And so hopefully, not hopefully, anytime that there's chaos, there's always joy in the midst of that. So let's not lose the joy that's needed to navigate these trying and troubling and unprecedented times that we are in. So hold on to that joy, laugh, love the people hard, because that's what's going to get us through this time period, as well as staying really clear and having a lot of clarity on the specific action that individually and collectively we need to take. So for next time, please read chapter 4, belonging in uh, my slate, belonging in care, and then chapter 5. Can't remember the title, so my mistakes. So Kim and I want to update you on feedback and self-reflections. We decided not to do them anymore because we only would get probably less than 5 people responding to them. So we've decided not to do them. So if there's something that you want to share at the end of RCCP or email us or talk to us in person, please do that. That's just an option. Continue to tune in and move through with Bimbasi. Practice how you want to be resourced in these times that we're in while also modeling for others. And then I'll pause and see if there's any essential takeaways, reflections, and appreciations. You can either put them in the chat or you can verbally share them, and I will stop sharing.
Sean, it's so funny. I was like already in my mind, like, here's what I'm going to say in my feedback form. But I want to appreciate the choosing our first group and having spaciousness and time in both of our groups. There just felt like we had a full conversation and everyone had time to share. So thank y'all for the design of like a little bit of choice and also just really long spaciousness in those small groups.
Thank you. Any other key takeaways, appreciations, aha moments before we close? Thank you for the thumbs up, claps.
Just an appreciation to all of my colleagues to create a space that feels safe enough to share hard truths.
I'll just share my appreciation for you, Sean, specifically over the years, and then Kim this year and all the other folks. As someone who woke up today and checked the feedback, it makes me sad that we all haven't done our part to like reflect back all that appreciation in the formal way you had it designed for us. So I just think I'm just going to call us all in to be a bit better because this work, like Sean brings a ton of intention to this work, and the form takes like 5 minutes. And so I support the decision to leave it be if it's not serving. But I also just call us all in to, spend the extra few minutes to show the appreciation for the spaces that are held for us.
Thank you, Jesse. Appreciate that. All right. Well, I want to respect everybody's time. Have a lovely Friday. I won't see most of you before the end of the new year. Whatever you're doing, however you celebrate or don't celebrate, love on your families, love on your friends, and your community, and continue to be safe and stay steeped in your joy. So take care, everyone.
And Sean and I'll stay here for a minute if you have any
Thank you so much.
additional
Have a
thoughts.
good one.
Thanks, Kay.
Thank
Thanks,
Take
you.
all.
care. Bye.
Thank you.
All right. All done.
Nice work. All right.
Yep.
When you do the recording, if you want to share it, I can get it on YouTube, or I just want to send it out, I think, because there's a lot of folks